What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Octagon here now. Today we are back with our Loyola-Chicago Ramblers Dynasty, MAUI, whatever you want to call it, here on NCAA 2K19 or just NBA 2K19. So today we will be taking a look at the MAUI Invitational. Yes, Loyola-Chicago is going to be playing in Hawaii. We're going to be looking at the 8 teams in this little regular season tournament, and we're going to see who might come out on top. The next episode, or 2 or 3, depending on how Loyola-Chicago does, will be the MAUI Invitational, so stay tuned for that. Let's meet the biggest underdog here in the MAUI Invitational comes from the Ivy League. That is the Harvard Crimson, one of the better basketball teams in the Ivy League. This team doesn't quite stack up in talent as some of these other top dogs, but maybe they can outsmart them. Maybe if there's a math competition, I think Harvard would do well in that. So this is certainly the biggest underdog, but they still have a chance. Next up from the SEC, we got the Arkansas Razorbacks. If they can contain some of these really good players, especially inside with Daniel Gafford, I think Arkansas does have a chance to do pretty well, but it's certainly going to be easy as they're not quite as talented as some of these other squads. Next up, we got the Loyola-Chicago Ramblers. They are 2-0 so far. They've been extremely efficient. They're playmaking. They're passing the ball really well. They're playing good defense, and they've played some very efficient basketball so far, and I think they could do pretty well here in the MAUI Invitational. Next up, we got the Ohio State University, the Buckeyes. This team makes a lot of big plays, a lot of playmaking, and I think the Buckeyes could do really well here in this tournament, so don't be shocked if they do end up winning it. Next up, we got more of a football school, but they certainly have some basketball talent, especially as of recent years. That is Elijah Thomas and the Clemson Tigers. This team, they're athletic, they're long, they're lean, and I think they could do pretty well. Next up, we got the Oregon Ducks. I like their veterans, players like Peyton Pritchard, but they also got some young, explosive players, such as freshman Bull and Lewis King, and I think Oregon's very well-rounded, and they could really spark some interest in this tournament. Next up, we got the Kentucky Wildcats out of the SEC. This team has a lot of talent. They don't really have a superstar. Let's see if they can put it together. A team that does have a lot of talent, but they do have superstars. That is the favorite still in this tournament, the Duke Blue Devils. Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, and Cameron Reddish. It is a little bit unlikely that Duke doesn't win this, but there are 7 quality teams in this tournament, so it's not going to be easy for Duke, and it's not going to be easy for any of these guys. So taking a look at the bracket, in the first round, we have the Arkansas Razorbacks taking on Ohio State. We got Duke taking on Harvard, Oregon taking on Loyola-Chicago, and Kentucky taking on Clemson. I got Ohio State, Duke, Kentucky, and in an upset, the Loyola-Chicago Ramblers over Oregon. In round 2, Duke versus Ohio State, Kentucky versus Loyola-Chicago. I got Duke, and then Loyola-Chicago upsetting Kentucky, and then in the national championship, you got Duke, a super talented team. They have multiple future NBA lottery picks, and then you got the Loyola-Chicago Ramblers. They have some good leaders, they have some talent, but I don't think it's going to be enough to stop the big bad Duke Blue Devils. I say Duke wins that game 83-71. So that is it for me. The next few episodes will be the MAUI Invitational. We will be following the Loyola-Chicago Ramblers, see how they do. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned for that. Pretty excited. Sorry if this felt rushed. I only had like 20 seconds to explain each team. So yeah, have a good one.